Say welcome. Remember, whenever you tune in, first thing you do, like the video. It really helps me out a lot. It's the only thing I ask you for. Also, let me know what you like. If you have any questions about the upcoming fights, we have a stacked weekend starting in a few hours. Also, if you've been tuning in all week, I gave you my long parlay. That's the fun one. There's 20 legs on it. I printed it out for you. It's in our post section. I also gave you my method of victory. What's up, Meech? Method of victory. What's up, Martin? And that's in our post section. But right now, I do have 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been talking with some of the boys. Gary, been talking to Muscles. Hey, Johnny. What's up, Vic? What's up, Will? Nakatani, Knockout. Dude, we're already heating up. We're just getting started. Landslide. Yeah, before I get down to business, let's do our salutations. I appreciate everybody. We got I got another lock of the weekend for you. Now this one is kind of like if you guys are bettors, similar to like heavy hitters. I know a guy who's gonna take this pick. What's up, Javi? This will give you put 10 grand on it. It gets you about 6 grand back. What's up, DJ Green? Now, I'm not that heavy of a bettor, but I know guys who've been in the boxing betting space for a long, long time. They build their way up to be able to bet like this, and this is how they win a lot of money. And these are kind of like, I don't want to say locks because we know in boxing there are no locks, but look at all the cards we have. There are a lot of feeder fights. A card that we didn't even get to talk about is that Pro Box card. We're in the building. What's good? Goats in the house. Hooney with the upset. What's up, guys? Yeah, didn't Wardley and Key Davis by knockout? Y'all book it, landslide. It could happen. Did you guys see Teddy Atlas's tweet? Teddy just tweeted out about Wardley. Keyshawn called out Abdullah. What do you think about it? PJ, big ups to LBC Ozzy. Yeah, Javi knows what time it is. 5:62. I lived in Long Beach for about 7. Set in the house. Guys, appreciate everyone tuning in. I got about an hour on this live stream. It's my Friday morning. Then I got about a 4-hour block of coaching. My client, I'm a strength and conditioning and boxing coach, so my clients come to me. Aren't you a big concern about Mike A? So Victor, Mike Perez, man, he's a fun 39 years old. He's talking about the Cuban who lives in Ireland. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that concerned. I think he wins that fight. You lived in Long Beach down the street. Yeah, I lived in 2 neighborhoods in the 6-7 years I was there. The first neighborhood, I lived right off of Cherry and Wardlow, right by that LA Fitness. So they called it California Heights. And then the last 5 years, I lived on the peninsula. So Belmont Shore. Where can I see the 20 leg? The 20 leg's up, Tito. It's up on the post section. And whoever's asked me about Mike Perez, 39-year-old Cuban living in Ireland, he has a cult fan following. I'm not that concerned about taking Mike because I only dashed a little bit. I sprinkled some money on it. If it hits, it hits. There is another Perez, guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm watching fights tonight. Yep, I'm definitely living in North Carolina, going to Virginia card. John, man, that Virginia card's stacked. That's awesome. And the longer you tune to the channel, you know my history. Born and raised in Northeast Ohio. I lived in South Carolina for a short, Belmont Shore. What time this fight starts? PJ, our first fight starts here in 4 hours. And we know what card that is. The Turkish guy, yeah, and Perez, who's Claudio Squeal? I know, Will. Claudio is a guy that Jai is supposed to just walk right through. There aren't a lot of guys who are putting their hands up to fight Apataya. If you guys don't know that question, he's asking who's Jai Apataya's opponent, Squeal. Yeah, there's not a lot of guys putting their hand up, and Jai just wants to stay active and stay busy. He's fighting in his hometown, home state in Queensland. I would say early stoppage, rounds 1 through 4. No, Hooney doesn't fight tonight. The only guys fighting tonight is that Montreal, Canada card, guys. So on my long parlay on the Montreal, Canada card, I got Unal at $1.13, Biaslarnov at $1.08, and Guerrero at $1.06. So there's 3 fights. There's 3 fights that are on our long parlay. And like I told you, I talked to Muscles. I talked to 3D Boxing, Gary. We're in a chat. If you guys are here from Gary's channel, you guys see both. I know Gary's going to Virginia, so I don't think he's live today. But they like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They like Antonio Perez at $1.16. Yeah, I got Elber. Let me finish this real quick. If you take Abdullah Mason, Nakatani, Isley, Antonio Perez, and O'Leary on the money line, you could start a you could start a really safe parlay from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those 5 are locks. Those 5 are locks. If you take those 5 locks and then just add another fight if you want to increase the odds, because if you just take Abdullah, Nakatani, Troy, Isley, Antonio Perez, and O'Leary, that pays you 150. So 5,000 on a 10. You put 10 grand on that, you get 5 back. You put 100 on it, you get 50 back. But if you want to add value to that, you pick whoever else you want. Who you got tonight? The 3 fights I'm taking tonight: Mehmet Unal, Biaslarnov, and Guerrero. But that's part of a longer parlay. You guys hear Lomachenko retired? Lomachenko just officially made a statement. He's retired. So the 135-pound division is a little bit more free. I know the IBF has been sort of handcuffed with him not. I know, PJ, that, and if you're patient, PJ, you build up to that. But there's guys on my channel, there's guys that this is all they do. They only bet on boxing. And I used to scatter my bets, MMA, NBA, Major League Baseball. And then when I linked up with Gary and Muscles, they started chatting with me. I'll only put money towards boxing, and then I started winning. So that's kind of like my game plan. I don't go too heavy. It's still for entertainment. I'm not, I do this out of a passion. Who do you got in the MEA? OKC, such a huge favorite, Toya. And, Indy, it's game 1 today. I just took a couple scoring props. Turkey, what's the bet for the weekend? So I gave you my 20 leg. It's already up on the page. There's a knockdown prop bet, guys. If you missed my live stream yesterday, if you take Fabio Wardley and Justice Hooney and you just pick that there'll be at least 1 knockdown, that pays $1.66. You parlay that with Nakatani and Nishida and pick that there's at least going to be 1 knockdown. That pays $1.52. So there you go. You got a 2-to-1 parlay, and I really love that. I 100%. Well, Toya, the thing is, in Australia, our odds are mandatory 3-way odds. So, they put the tie. Who will Raymond Murtaugh face now that Loma retired? Good question, Jesus. I'm not on DraftKings, my art. So you got the odds are, if you're betting on boxing, if we're not talking about the NBA, let's just stick to boxing. My odds are a little bit higher because they force us in Australia to 3-way bet because they factor in the draw. Now, if I pick a winner on the money line and it's a draw, I lose my parlay. I think in America, if you guys draw, you don't lose your parlay. I'm not sure, but you don't think Isley? I think so, man. I think where Troy's at, I think Troy, I'm safe with Troy winning that fight. Without overthinking it, when you look at, where they're fighting, top rank, Raymond just fought that number 2. Yeah, we covered Murtaugh. I'm a fan of Murtaugh. If Hooney gets knocked down, he's getting knocked out. But all you need is the way that prop bet works, you don't need Hooney or Fabio to win. All you need, and this is how you could watch the fight neutral, and I'm doing that. On one ticket, I'm taking Hooney. On a separate ticket, I have the knockdown prop, meaning all I need is either guy to go to the canvas once, and I win my ticket. Yeah, Troy's gonna win. We could overanalyze that. I think Troy Isley's a lock. And then the Nakatani fight, when you look at Nishida's style, when you look at Nakatani 30 and 24, his knockout to win percentage, I'm very comfortable that there'll be at least 1 knockdown. And so you put those 2 in, you got a little bit over 2-to-1 money. $100 gets you 200. I'll rarely ever say that there's a knockdown prop bet that I'm comfortable with. I'm kind of risk adverse on that end, but I'm comfortable with that. Keyshawn versus Raymond Murtaugh. Yeah, guys, Keyshawn, I don't want to jinx him, but I think Keyshawn is that dude. I think Keyshawn's the real deal, man. I'm going to do Thursday and Friday night parlay and then Saturday. Go. That's how I'm rolling too. So we got so many fights, guys. Did you guys get the Pro Box odds? Because they just released even more fights on my book. Pro Box now, they're fighting. We got Michael Angeletti headlining, but Justin Paldo. Justin Paldo is signed the $1 million. I think they call him the $1 million man. Yeah, Keyshawn is top guy at 30. I do think so. I think Keyshawn is, is a nightmare. Agree with PJ. If Hooney gets hurt, Fabio will stop him. Don't roll out, Bruce. Stop. Yeah, I'm not saying that won't be the case. Keyshawn walks through Muratai. I think so. Edwin is better than Muratai, in my opinion. I think so, too. Keyshawn get through. Yeah, Keyshawn has to beat Edwin. I would take, I think, on your long parlay. So on my long parlay, great question. That is Red Johnson, but I do have Tiger on a separate parlay. I'm going to be releasing that today. So all you have to do is subscribe to my channel, go to the post section, and you'll see me put the parlays up. I'm going to add my top rank parlay today along with the Pro Box parlay. So just stay active on the channel. Kelvin versus Albright. Guys, Israel, great question. Let's answer that real quick, Israel. Kelvin Davis versus Albright. My thing with this is, because I see the internet's a bit torn. They think Albright trying to do the boxing math. Kelvin isn't his brother. Remember this. Kelvin usually fights at 47. Albright fights at 135. So they're meeting in the middle. I'm pretty sure they're fighting at 140. You mix that in with the fact that this fight is in Norfolk, Virginia, on Keyshawn's brother, in their hometown. I don't see Kelvin losing. Yeah, he's favored if they fight. Said Kelvin. Yeah, I don't see Kelvin losing. I know some people were picking Albright for the upset. I kind of don't see it. Kelvin is going to knock him out. Yeah. Keyshawn Punk Abdullah twice. Keyshawn's trying to older brother him. Did you guys see the face-off today with Keyshawn and Edwin De Los Santos? They're facing off, and Edwin tries to grab the belt, and Keyshawn shoved him. Someone getting stopped in that fight. Davis brother. Yeah. And that, you got to think so. And we're looking at patterns here. We're not only looking at film study. We break the fights down. We look at the statistics. But you got to look at patterns. You look at, they're fighting in Norfolk. These guys have a little buzz about them. They're all going to win. I think they're all going to win. Keyshawn is a clown for that. Yeah. Toya, Abdullah is ranked, I think, in the top 10 internationally now on BoxRec. I think Abdullah, with another electric performance, he goes from prospect to contender just because he's that good. I'm really high on Mason. I don't think he's quite ready to fight Keyshawn. And I think if Keyshawn wants to fight him, he probably, he's doing a business move. He fights him now. Yeah. I think Abdullah still has some holes in his game he has to fix. There's a couple little things of how he enters and exits the pocket. He kind of, Keyshawn needs that energy for Shakur and Raymond. I think so. Abdullah been saying he wants that title fight. Don't say, yeah. I think so. But, there's similarities to when you watch Abdullah's entrance into his offense. There's a similarity, and I'm not saying they fight similar, and they're not similar fighters. But let's go back to Charles Conwell and Conwell's loss to Chinito, and the thing we were talking about. Why I picked Conwell to win that fight, but one of the things in my breakdown video that I was hesitant on was how Conwell doesn't hide his offense. He only has one entrance. He doesn't show his opponent any sort of thing other than high guard, one jab, and enter. And at the world-class level, you have to change angles, you have to change levels, you have to throw punches at different ranges and different angles. And Conwell didn't do that, and Chinito picked up on that. And I think Abdullah Mason has to add certain sort of levels to his offense. Also his defense as well, because Abdullah is so willing to exchange in there. We've seen him get clipped before, and he's still young. He's working a lot. He's working hard on just keeping it tight here, coming back here rather than here. So there's a lot of little things. I wouldn't rush Abdullah. I did the long parlay on FanDuel. RG3 2 legs, Guerrero in the second, Perez. If Edwin didn't have that long leg. Yeah, Toya, you bring up great points. And this is one of the reasons why I think Keyshawn is a better boxer, but one of the reasons I'm leaning on him and I'm trusting him is that layoff. Isley is no lock at all. His opponent beat Chino. Yeah, the version of Chino we saw, I don't know, man. When you look at how those fights, when did those fights happen? When you look at the version of Chino, we didn't expect Chino to beat Conwell. He looked great. He's getting a Xavier. He's fighting Xander Zayas now. So I guess, James, I see what you're saying with that. But once again, we look at, do the statistics on the top rank cards when you do when it's home cooking. I think Isley's going to be too much for his opponent, and he's a big favorite for a reason. I don't see him losing that fight. But the inactivity to finish the note on Toya, which you were talking about, we can't talk about Edwin versus Keyshawn without talking about Keyshawn fighting 3 times in 2024, once in 2025. This will be his 5th fight since we last saw De Los Santos in 2023 against Shakur. That if that was just the narrative, that's enough for me to lean on Keyshawn, especially him being a champion. And then also his camp as well. I can't speak highly enough of Bomac, what they do down there. And there's just a few invariables, a few sort of things that I feel that are on Keyshawn's side. And I don't think the power with De Los Santos is going to be enough to beat Keyshawn. I just don't see it. Guys, if you're 100% sure on the fights tonight, yeah, on the 3, I am, PJ. The three fights in Canada, I'm 100% sure. And we covered those. We know in boxing there's never 100%. Neither will be able to touch Andy. Andy's coming along, and I like the work Andy's been doing with Bozy Ennis. Andy Cruz, obviously, the Cuban, he has some victories over Keyshawn. But, guys, that's not the same Keyshawn. The Keyshawn in the amateurs is not who he is today. And also, the Keyshawn a year and a half ago is not the same Keyshawn today. You just look at the levels of his game he's added from, the help and the assistance of Bomac and just Keyshawn maturing to the pro game. Always in shape, always ready, always training. You look at some of the traps that he sets when he's fighting. You look at some of the adjustments he's made on defense. He still is a guy who's willing to trade with you in the pocket. So I see why people are putting the money, betting on the underdog, the live dog of De Los Santos, because they like that pop, they like that power. They always talk about what Edwin did to Ryo. But, I mean, we'll see. And to answer your question, am I 100% sure, PJ, on tonight? I'm 100% confident. Are there 100% locks in boxing? That's hell no, there isn't. Hell no. There's nothing is a lock. But am I reasoning with it? Hell yeah, I got to stand by it. I'm not a 1 foot in, 1 foot out guy on anything I do in life. What do they say? I'm standing on business. Let's do it. I got Huni by decision. I like it. Keyshawn by stoppage. Nice. Abdullah by stop. What's that pay? Turkey, what does that pay? Nakatani, who's the first fight tonight? Who's the headliner? All right, guys, the headliner it's Mehmet Unal. He's a top 20 light heavyweight. He's fighting in Montreal, Canada. He's fighting against Cherkowicz. He's $1.13. You also have Collado versus Birslanov. Keyshawn via decision. I could see that happening too. So there's a knockdown prop bet, though. If you think one of the we talked Crispy Chris. Good to see you back in the chat. Yeah, 135 did open up. Lomachenko retired. I think he's 37 years old. What was his amateur record? 435-1, something insane. We know about a lot of these countries. They take a lot of pride in fighting for their country in the Olympics. So I remember like yesterday watching Lomachenko's debut. Keyshawn is no lock. Shakur has the best defense in boxing history. But yeah, I didn't say I'm picking Keyshawn will get hit clean. We're gonna see 396-1. There you are. Go to what did I say 435. It's not that's even when you see it written 396-1. It's insane. And you know who was on that amateur record? Charlie Suarez. Suarez, the kid who fought Emmanuel Navarrete. We talked about it in our tape breakdown. Suarez fought Lomachenko in the amateurs. And it's good to see. Hopefully, I don't know if it's official. I think Suarez and Navarrete will rematch. They called that fight a no contest. Did you drop it? Yeah, Diamond, it's in the... I did. So go back, Diamond. If you go to the post section, you'll see I posted about Keyshawn and Pernell Whitaker. I posted about Lomachenko's retirement. And then a couple more down, you'll see the long one. And I wrote it out for you guys this time. I typed it out. So I'm doing the extra work. Guys, if you're tuning in, like this video. There's 42 people watching. We got 11 likes. Get those likes up. Also, if you're not following the page, be sure to subscribe. This is my first live stream of the day. It is 6:45 a.m. I'm going to be going live again at 11:30 a.m. So in 5 hours, I'm going to be going live. We should have the Canada fights already started by then. Y'all better hope Keyshawn don't get hit clean. Hit better jab and move around like Shakur. What are we worried? So why does everyone just think Edwin De Los Santos has like wild, crazy power? Just because we saw Ryo get wobbled and get stopped? I don't. Mike Perez versus Ward. I have Mike Perez on my money line. I think Mike Perez wins that fight. I'm not sold on. Do you watch kickboxing? I grew up, Badr Hari. I grew up all martial arts, Victor. So I'm in the Armani, the doctor. He just retired. Edwin got hurt by Ryo. Yeah, my mind's running. I'm trying to stay focused on boxing, but I grew up watching kickboxing and Muay Thai. You know, I know John Wayne Parr. Ramon Dekkers was a legend. He was a Dutch. I like the Dutch kickboxing. But Giorgio, who's the kid from the Armenian who fought for Italy? One of the greatest kickboxers of all time. George, his brother fights in the UFC. He just retired. His nickname was the Doctor. Yes, Petrosian. Fucking, some of my favorite fighters are kickboxers. Edwin is super explosive puncher, but I see catching and counter. Yeah, I mean, when we talk about Edwin's power, we got to talk about Keyshawn's speed. Like, why are we forgetting that? I don't think that just because Edwin does one thing really well, that supersedes everything Keyshawn does. It's not called power. The sport isn't called power. The sport's called boxing. So I understand from the odds perspective, or from like people love fighters. You know, maybe you're a huge Dominican fan. You know, I love, you know, going to the DR. You know, when I was younger, we'd go to the Dominican all the time, and you know, we'd have a great time. But other than people were, did Keyshawn ever get rocked? I don't think so. Has Keyshawn been wobbled? Have we seen him get rocked or get hurt? And even if we did see him get rocked or get hurt, he never got stopped and he's undefeated. And I mean, that's even more proof and evidence. But like I said, I understand why you guys are taking Edwin. I'm not sitting here and being delusional about it. Edwin is a live dog. He does a lot of things really well. Edwin's younger. Edwin's younger than Keyshawn. So to think that Edwin fought Shakur, I think Edwin was 23 when he fought Shakur, and that probably makes him 21 or 22 when he fought Ryo. Well, I like you even more since you watched. Yeah, man. Victor, do you know about Lethway? Victor, I did a documentary on Burmese boxing called Lethway, and I traveled the world with Dave LeDuc. Medueno fight was a dog fight. That a big, yeah, Medueno, it was a dog. Medueno was a challenge. It's not like he hasn't had, it's not like he hasn't been tested. I like 3,700 off 100 for that bet. I says Johnny, Turkey, let's go. I was at that fight, Meech. Yeah, the Medueno fight. So it's not like, would you say that this is the biggest step up for De Los Santos? Would you say that Keyshawn presents De Los Santos bigger problems than Shakur did, or bigger problems than Ryo did, or William Foster III? I think Abdullah Mason had more of a chance of beating Keyshawn. There's a lot to like about Abdullah, PJ. You know, I'm high on Abdullah. There's a lot to like about him. He has a lot of natural gifts, and he seems like a student to the game. You know, he's dedicated to the craft. He seems like a well-rounded young man, and I'm a fan of Abdullah. Just like I'm a fan of Keyshawn. We're going to see as Abdullah's market, as his star grows, how that either affects him positively or negatively. This style matchup fits Edwin much more than the Shakur fight. Yeah, but GOAT, I don't know if any of us predicted that Shakur was going to fight him that way. Did we? Like, we were looking at what Shakur did against, you know, he was coming off when he won the Jamal. When, you know, the Shakur who fought Jamal, in my breakdown of Edwin versus Shakur, I was predicting we were going to see the Shakur who fought Herring, but we didn't. And people were in Shakur. Whenever a young champion or just an athlete talks about they went into a fight injured, who are we to argue that? So he did. When you look at Shakur's hands when they're not wrapped, he did this video, and I posted it on our channel. He showed his hands like this, and he has scars, brutal scars all over his knuckles. Felt the power and started running. I don't know if it's that, or maybe he felt the power and used his defense and knew that his hands were shot. I don't know. It was an odd fight. I don't think Edwin didn't do anything to win that fight though. Keyshawn hits harder than Ryo. Yeah. I think Keyshawn has his cult following, and he's a world champion. But I think this matchup is gonna propel him, give him the opportunity to go to the mainstream. Because would you guys agree? Is Keyshawn mainstream? Right? Yeah, Ryan did say the same thing. But Ryan had surgery. You know what I'm saying, Toya? I like to lean on the benefit of the doubt for the fighters. I'm not one of these guys, and the longer you're on my channel, you'll know that. I'm not going to, like, create controversy or conspiracy theory. If they say that their hands were hurt, hey, mate, you went in there, you put your life on the line. I believe you. For Shakur, it makes sense. For Ryan, your hand, you know, he got hit with a hook. Shakur didn't punch. Yeah, DJ, so I don't think Keyshawn's mainstream yet either. But this he wants to be mainstream. Can really hit. He dropped Baranchik with a body shot, which was gorgeous. Good afternoon. You're doing. Thank you, Frank B. I appreciate you. Wherever you guys are, like this video. Ryle was not the same guy. We have to remember. Meech brings up a great point. Ryle went on to become a champion at 40. You know, he moved up. He was weight trained. He didn't look like the same guy at all. And he's a dude. It's good to see all these young guys fighting because I think Ryle was 24 when they fought, maybe 23. These were young guys, a handful of pro fights. So, but Edwin has that amateur experience. When Tank said that in the Pitbull fight, people would say, yeah, Tank doesn't do himself favors, and you're right, Toya. People, exactly, Ryle's not the same guy and still dropped Edwin. Yeah, Keyshawn's going to murder him. Turkey. So are we all agreeing that Keyshawn isn't a mainstream name yet, but this fight could propel him to the mainstream because you could tell he's hungry to be the guy. He's hungry to be that guy. Why do American public question mark with the best across? I don't know. I don't. Is it just an American thing, digital? I'm not sure. What happened after he dropped Edwin? Shit is irrelevant. Yeah, James. With that reasoning, though, then let's go to Fabio versus Huni because people who are picking Wardley are saying that Huni got wobbled against Kevin Lorena, so that you know boxing logic. Key looked way larger than he did. Key's probably. I don't think there's rehydration clause in this fight. Keyshawn, the belt Keyshawn holds, they're fighting at 30. Keyshawn might be 155 pounds in there come fight night. Keyshawn might win inside 2 rounds. Then again, Edwin could do the same. Joink. Huni showed he has a good chin. Lorena dropped Dubois 3 times. That's what I'm talking about. People forget they try. And Lorena's a decent, tricky southpaw in the heavyweight division. That's not that crazy to say, Joint. Goat knows what time it is, mate. You guys need to listen to Goat. He's the last 70 of 72 parlay picks I've hit, right? The 2, Goat was telling me, he was like, those aren't, you know, he was leaning on the opposite. It is rehydration clause. So, Swindle, what's the max? Keyshawn, another Devin weight bully. So Toya, are you calling Fundora? Is Fundora a weight bully? I don't know, mate. Is Boots Ennis a weight bully? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I follow that. Everybody, I know there's weight classes, guys. There's weight classes. So a fighter in their camp is going to try to, at the world class level, you have to understand, you have to find any opportunity to have the edge, and in the weight classes are at least doing it legally. It's not like he's been popped for juicing. It's not like he's been popped for, you know, PEDs. Yeah, I love Rafa. Exactly. 126 pounds, 6'2". Rafa Espinosa. Mason by decision, easy big payouts. You think he doesn't stop him? The only way bullying is rehydration clauses. Yeah, I don't like the clauses. I'm not a clause guy. I'm confident in Troy, Beth. Some people aren't. I'm confident in Troy. I'm confident in Isley. Raphael is a menace, man. He is fun to watch. Every time, man, that division, people kind of sometimes sleep on the 126-pound division. You know, Bruce Carrington, we don't talk enough about either. I want to see Shushu step up. Shakur going to lace Keyshawn with good advice on it. That's TM. We talked about that yesterday. Is looking like Usain Bolt in the face-off. I had to say it. Nakatia. Yeah, he's talking about the Abdullah Mason fight. Tank brings fighters up because he's won. Yeah, and Tank's not a naturally big dude, and people don't talk about that. Tank fights pretty much near his walking weight. You know what I mean? He's not a wide dude, not a huge dude, doesn't get out of shape too bad. You always see him. So it's not like he's cutting down. He's shorter, too. He got that one punch, though. Bruce will be Yeah, Shushu's a beast. I like everything that I'm seeing with Carrington. Tank, Duck, Loma. I mean, what's the first fight for tonight? PJ, we got the first fight on the card is Chris Guerrero, Montreal, Canada. So I have 3. I'm taking 3 of the favorites on the Montreal card tonight, guys. Guerrero, Biarslanov, and Unal. That's part of my long parlay. Loma, Duck, Tank, stop. So well, Toya, if you go back 7 years, the Loma Tank saga started like 7 years ago. I have a suspicion Keyshawn prefers a company. What the fuck? James out here wild. My Friday and Thursday parlay is going to be Unal Ramirez, Franchon Cruz, Antonio Perez. Yeah, GOAT. I love it. I got Antonio Perez on a sneaky one, too. Then we roll in that money. Yes, sir. That's how we do it. We got a lot of opportunities. So do you guys see there being a knockdown? I got to get your opinion. Do you see, do we all feel comfortable that we're going to see one knockdown in the Hooney versus Wardley fight? At least one on either side. Because I want to get your opinion. Yes or no? Will one of those guys hit the canvas? 7 years ago, Tank wasn't. But that's where it started. I don't think so. So Turkey, you don't think either guy's gonna hit the canvas? Okay. I'm rolling the dice on that one then. I think I could see one of those guys going to a knee. I think it's a good bet. Go. Yeah, thank you. You think Hooney gonna knock down Wardley? I'm not saying Hooney's gonna knock down Wardley. It could happen. Hooney could box, guys. Hooney could box, mate. Watch Hooney's legit, dude. Teo versus Devin is not old. All of them were at 135. Nah, those guys are young. Maybe I missed something. Teo and Devin, I mean, Hooney takes ED. Turkey, I think so too, man. I think so too. I got Hooney on in my prediction, in my breakdown video. If you guys are new to my live streams, go on my channel. You'll see my breakdown videos. Guys, I'm releasing the feature of Jai Apataya today. I'm doing another live stream in about 4 hours. It's 7 a.m. Friday morning. Wherever you guys are tuning in, I say welcome. Let me know in the comment section where you guys representing from. I know we got a lot of Americans. I feel like Wardley would certainly knock down on Hooney, but Hooney could still win a decision. That's a bet to look at, Kyle. So if your prop is allowing you that, I won a 15-1 bet. Johnny, have you thought about placing Hooney to get knocked down but still win? Somebody just said that. So I put $100 on the Inoue versus Cardenas fight, and I at 15-1 Inoue to get knocked down and still win. But I'm still burning that I didn't go Inoue to get knocked down and win by knockout because that was 25-1. So I won $100, a little over 1,000 on Inoue versus Cardenas on a similar bet. Rich Blackman in the house. What brought you to Australia? Daniel Vega. I moved here in 2013. I was living in Las Vegas, Nevada. I just finished grad school, and I was bartending on the Strip at a bar in Planet Hollywood, and I met a flight attendant from Sydney. We hooked up, became friends, and then she lived in Sydney, and I flew down here, and then for 2 weeks, and then I went back, and then got my and then moved down here. Started a fitness business in 2013. Hooney getting decked and winning plus 800. Come on, $10. $10, $25, then you could come on the live stream next week and be like, I told you so. Wardley can't box out of a paper bag, but has that knockout power. We saw that against Fraser Clark both times. Clark is trash. I think he beat Wardley in the first fight. Hooney to be knocked down and win plus 1,900, guys. That's something to think about. I'm in Headbangers Gym right now watching DJ Green in the house. Appreciate you. Get that work in. I'm jealous because I got to wait a couple hours to work out. But, yeah, I got deadlifts today and a little bit of boxing on the bag. But this is my bread and butter. So, guys, remember to like this video. I'm going to stay on for a little bit longer. I'm ready for another great weekend. Let's go, Rich. Let's go. We got boxing all around. Guys, to recap, Montreal starts in 3 hours. We got that Pro Box card with the $1 Million Kid fighting on it, and then Michael Angeletti. We got the Virginia card in Norfolk, obviously top rank. We got Japan with Nakatani. We got Australia with Jai Apataya. 2 fight cards, maybe 3 in England. We got Josh Kelly fighting, who I featured. Armand, finally. We got Fabio Wardley and Hooney. That's 7 cards, guys. We have to make this money. The key with it, we can't get greedy. Is Fletcher a good add to the parlay? Great question. Let me check. I think I just got options on Fletcher. Let me see. Let me focus on the Fletcher question real quick, guys. Give me a second. Because I didn't have options on him earlier, but now I do. What's he paying at? So he's asking me about Fletcher. Is he good to add on the parlay? Give me a second. Hicks, Pagan, Moore, Winch, Price, Williams, Johnson, Hickey, Khan, Adams, Gilly, Richardson, Stringer, Perez, Azim, Aliev, Heisa, Edwards. You asked me about Fletcher. Jeffrey, Worley, Simpson, Keon Davis, Angeletti. There's so many fights. Troy Isley. Guys, Troy Isley beats William, guys. Tiger Johnson beats Boca Chica. I'm up on Tiger. I think, all right, yeah. Xavier Fletcher's a lock. I mean, Xavier Fletcher is going to, if you get a prop on Xavier Fletcher winning by stoppage, I mean, he's fighting Dodomo. Look at Dodomo's weight class. Kelly won't lose, but here they want you to give him a big fight. Yeah, pushing 31. I've been up on Josh Kelly since 2016. And I broke that fight down, guys. Kelly had one opportunity in America. They brought him over to Madison Square Garden, and he fought Ray Robinson to a draw, and then people just gave up on him. Then he fought David Avanesyan, and Avanesyan's biggest fights were to Bud and Boots, and we know how those ended. But Avanesyan is a very, very mid-tier world-class fighter, maybe fringe world-class fighter, but he showed the blueprint to beat Josh. Josh is a reflex fighter, does a lot of pretty things in the ring, but makes a lot of mistakes and gets hit a lot, and Avanesyan just drowned him. So since then, Josh has won fights. He only has one loss, but we haven't seen his career. I thought Josh would be fighting for world titles. He's 31. He's fighting Flavio Bea. Avanesyan did body kill. It was hard to watch, guys. It was hard to watch. I really didn't know anything about Avanesyan before that fight. Put your first bet on Abdullah by decision. So you don't think he stops Nakathila. I could see it. But it's hard to bet against a guy on streaks. So when I'm thinking about outcomes of bets, I think about which streak are they on. Is fighting a slugger. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, you think it goes to the cards? No, exactly, James. He's fighting a slugger. Same. What's the knockdown prop bet? Go to that. See if you could take Abdullah Mason Nakathila and just one knockdown. What's that pay? I added Callum Simpson is a great ad, Frank. I'm high. Callum Simpson is another guy, fringe world level. Finally, this fight will propel him to, by no choice, to fight guys for world titles. Callum Simpson could fight. Mason's arms, yeah. James, it's different when the opponent knows what the opponent is about. It's also different when you're fighting egos in their joint. Sometimes a lot of these sluggers, it's not about who they're fighting. It's about you fight their ego. And we're seeing that Mason is this type of guy. And Mason has come out on top always so far. I know. I don't think he goes the distance either, mate. I don't think he goes. I think Abdullah stops him. I don't think it's gonna be a long fight. I could see him getting off the canvas though. I could see if you're not comfortable with the outcome, see if your book is letting you take a knockdown prop bet. See if you could go plus half of a knockdown, because I see Nakathila getting dropped and getting up. Keith finna get knocked down too. Armand. I think someone's going to get knocked down in that fight. I think Nakathila will make it challenging to a point. It will go the distance. Okay, join. Stand by your bet. That's one thing on the channel. We're not trying to, nobody's trying to be an expert here. So if you stand on business and that gives you more street cred if you're right, when our next live stream comes, you could be like, yo, I told you so. That's why it's fun. It's entertaining. Guys, if you're gambling out there and you're not having fun, reach out to somebody. If you watch my videos, I give you the 1-800 gambling advice number. Take advantage of that, because if it's not fun, you got a problem. All right, this should be entertainment purposes only. We're entering our 39th minute. Remember to like this video. Tap in wherever you are. We got fights starting in a few hours. Like I said, for the next 3 hours, I got clients at my place, at my gym, and then I'll be doing another live stream. I'm going to release the Jai Apataya feature for Squale. And there's a lot to come. Stay tuned to the channel all weekend. Keyshawn will win by TKO. Johnny, I'm on it. Add Callum. Frank, Callum. 1-800 get cash. Kyle, is that your personal number? I think I like Callum Simpson to win that, mate. Josh Kelly. Yeah, Callum Simpson, Zuko. It's going to be a fun fight, though. You know, both guys are undefeated. Both guys are ranked in the top 40. You got Callum at rank 13, Zuko at 31. It's a super middleweight sort of domestic fight in the UK, which that winner usually gets the #1 contender spot for the big belt, Frank B. We'll see what happens here. Callum Simpson, he has Zuko, I just don't see him doing anything better than Simpson. So I think right now on the books, if you take Callum, you could add him to your parlay. He adds a little bit of juice. What's he at? $1? Brandon Moore, Joseph Hicks. There's so many fights, guys. This is insane. All boxing. Yeah, I think right now I have Simpson at $1. What's he at? Here we go. He's at $1.12. I took him yesterday. He was at $1.15. So that just shows you money's coming. More money is coming in on Simpson. That fight goes down Sunday in a few days. Mason is a kid yet. Simpson has a massive following. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, James. I think that's, I try to shy away from using locks, but I like him a lot in that fight. I think it's that Zuko match fighting style is tailor made for him. Any other questions on who you guys want to lean on? If you guys didn't tune in from the beginning of the video, Abdullah Mason, this is Muscle's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Muscle texted me this. There's 5 fights on the money line. He said that if you want to build a parlay around these 5, he's comfortable with them locks. Abdullah, Nakatani, you got all your bets on your page. Yeah, Toya, go to my post section. And I'm going to be posting more because I got 2 more parlays I got to give you guys. I got to give you guys 1 top-ranked parlay, and I got to give you another method of victory parlay. Abdullah Mason, Nakatani, Isley, Antonio Perez, and O'Leary pays out $1.50. I see all those guys winning on the money line. If you want to start a little parlay from there, I think those are safe picks. I love Tiger. Tiger on points, Kelvin on points, Keyshawn by knockout. Jesus, GOAT. Let's go. Jai, 1 to 6. I'm going to throw a little bread on. Why not? Go. You're like an architect out here, finding all these little options, building the biggest odds. That's what it's about. When this video, I'm gonna mess. I'll tag you, Go, because I want to see what that says again. But the problem with Tiger by decision, and this is based on his last performance, which was actually Tiger's first. What's up, Fast Car? Which was actually Tiger's first fight at 47. We talked about it. He fought Kendo Tremendo. Tremendo had, I think, 6 or 7 losses. He had never been stopped. And Tiger just came out and looked like a different guy at 47. Stopped Kendo Tremendo, Castaneda. And so I could see Tiger putting on another performance like that. James. I could see Tiger winning by stoppage. Or like I think he's settling into that division. And I could see Tiger settling into sitting on his punches more. Joint, Canelo or Crawford. That's going to be a fun fight to cover. We got time, though. It's only June. We got a lot of fights before we start making predictions. It's hard to bet against either guy. Mike Perez, yeah. No, on that, Turkey, good question. Antonio Perez. I do have Mike on a separate parlay. What's up, Ethan? So, good question. On that Muscles and Gary 5-legger I just gave you, it's Antonio Perez. Great question. And I'll put that up. It's a good little 5-legger to start building around. I mean, or on Wendy Toussaint versus Hicks. I like Hicks there. That should be a decent fight. I have Hicks on the money line because my book, Ethan, isn't giving me any sort of options for method of victory. So I think I have him at $1.11. Something like that. Adds a little bit of juice. I have a really long parlay working. And those fights start in about 3 hours. So let's see the C fights. Unal, Ramirez, Kelly, Taylor, Smith, Mills, Cruz, Hicks versus Toussaint. That fight's tomorrow. No, Hicks is at $1.25. Wendy's the underdog. Wendy's about a 3-1. That should be a good fight. Yeah, I got Hicks at $1.32 yesterday. Now he's at $1.25. So money is floating in on the Hicks side. But Wendy's a live dog. So, I mean, if you're feeling froggy and you want to, I think Keyshawn going the distance because the odds on a knockout are high on DraftKings. Santos has no chance to win. Joink. I mean, Santos has a right hand. You think Albright? I don't think so, Civic. People are loving this Albright bet. But Civic, look, Albright cut his teeth at 135. And we know Kelvin, big dude, fights at 147. They're meeting in the middle at 140. I don't know, man. And they're fighting in Norfolk. And we know the buzz about the Davis brothers. I don't see why people are high on Albright beating Kelvin. I know Kelvin's not world class. Will there be any upsets this week? Keyshawn is okay with that. I think there's going to be upsets. I think Hooney beats Wardley. Hooney's an underdog. That's an upset. Down here in Australia, I don't think a lot of us think that would be an upset. I think we know more. I think Hooney's the better boxer there. Keyshawn is better than Tank and Shakur. it's tough to do boxing mats because they're all different styles. They're literally all different styles. I don't think Santos is winning. Fast car, I feel you on that. Cat, Toya. Yeah. All three different styles. You can't just say one's better. You can't just say it. I don't like just making that claim when all three are very different styles. Keyshawn is not on Tanker Shakur's level. Not yet. Keyshawn's still growing, guys. Keyshawn's not a finished product. I'm not capping. You'll see when this stops Santos. And I'm cheering for that joint. I'm not disagreeing that he won't beat Santos. I got him on parlay. I'm a lock in. The young Haitian got it, but I need better odds. Yeah, Ethan, look around, mate. I don't know where you are, what book you're using, but there's a lot of fights to choose from. And if you want to spice those odds up, look at some knockdown odds. Knockdown prop bets. Keyshawn is never in any better than, yeah. And I think that's pretty understood in the boxing circles too. When you hear fighters speak on record, when you hear their admiration for each other, no one really ever, yeah, that's not really a narrative you see going around. He's pretty much learning from Shakur. Just because he stopped Santos doesn't make it great. Yeah, true. Toya, I agree. I got Key unbeatable at 35. Stevenson didn't stop Santos while Keyshawn will. And guys, Joint brings up a good point, and I feel this is why I'm high on Keyshawn. That's a narrative that Joint brings up that no one's talking about. That you gotta know Keyshawn's thinking about. Keyshawn had Tension versus Santian. Tension is fun to watch. Former world champion kickboxer. I think he beat Santian. In the Virgin Islands, I stand nice, man. Welcome to the show. Where I was getting at those, you gotta think Keyshawn in his head, he probably won't tell anybody, is thinking, Shakur couldn't stop him, but if I stop him, that should give me some street cred. Edwin will knock that man out. Your high will come. He don't take shots very good. Edwin will... Wow. Keyshawn don't take shots very good. If Huni jab and run all day, he could win. Yeah, Johnny, that De La Santos quick trigger and match counters are a little... Yeah, but I don't think he's faster than Keyshawn. I think Keyshawn has a speed advantage. I think Shakur might stop. Santos gives everyone a problem at 35. He's world level. He is. Armand, he is world level. And he's young. Narrative nobody talks about is that Keyshawn in his head is probably going into this fight wanting to stop De Los Santos because his boy Shakur couldn't. So take that however you want it. I think Keyshawn fights differently than Shakur. I think Keyshawn's going to come out on the gas early. I'm expecting an aggressive Keyshawn early. So if you think that that's going to play into De Los Santos' game plan, then that's your argument. But I think Keyshawn is going to be aggressive, put on a show. Look what he looked like the last time we saw him in Norfolk against Lemos. See how everyone is thinking one or the other knocks the other guy out. I'm telling you, I'll take that over knockdown. Goat. I'm on that bet. Keyshawn going to be sharper. He's more active. Yes, Keyshawn is definitely going to try to stop him. I think so. I don't see this fight going 12. I think somebody's going to the canvas, Goat. I think somebody's dropping to the canvas. Keyshawn isn't stupid annoying as Ev opens up. Zepeda will beat Stevenson. Trust me. Joink. I'm up on Cameron, but I don't think Zepeda has the pop or the footwork. He's aggressive. He has the volume, but with all that punch volume, I think Tevin Farmer fought Zepeda really well, and I think Shakur is a level above. Don't sleep on Shakur, guys. Shakur, and I'm a big Zepeda fan, but I just don't. I don't see him posing an issue. I think Zepeda's aggression and lack of power, lack of one-punch power, is going to bring the best out of Shakur. They might touch the canvas. So, Armand, if that's the case, look for that knockdown prop bet, guys. There's money on these knockdown prop bets this weekend. Tevin fought Zepeda with solid composure. Yeah. Okay. We'll see. Key is not much faster than Edwin. Watch Edwin versus Adorno. That was like 2-3 years ago. Zepeda will be swinging at air most of the fight. Yeah, and I think Shakur's counters, Shakur's sharpness, Shakur's foot, man, Shakur is so good everywhere. Gary Antoine Russell spared DLS. GAR is my guy. Gary Antoine Russell. Keyshawn by knockout. You guys are on fire right now. Yeah, Edwin's 25. Edwin's younger than Keyshawn. It's going to be a premature stoppage. He's big in Puerto Rico. Ethan, you're talking about De Los Santos. He's Dominican, right? If that's who you're talking about. I see Rayo situation all over again. Which Rayo? Rayo getting stopped against GAR or Rayo getting stopped against Edwin? Because in between those stoppages, Rayo became a world champion at 140. And he got stopped against Edwin at 135. And he hurt Edwin. You're going to be calling the fights tonight, right? Yeah, I'm going to have a live stream popping. Dominican, that's what I thought. Margarito by knockout first. Antonio Margarito. Dude's trolling us. I watched both back to back. Guys, we're going on 50 minutes. I got to get ready for a client. Stay tuned to the channel. I'm uploading the Apataya video. I'm going live again in about 3 hours. Like this video, comment, stay tuned to the channel. Check the post section. I give you my parlays. I appreciate all the support. Let's get this money. I'll see you guys soon.